Alright, back into Golden Pack for another ridiculous challenge, and this time we're going to try and win after selling our entire team on turn 11. Now, to be honest, that wasn't the original goal of the challenge. Originally I just wanted to get a run where I sold level 3 Stoat and level 3 Hercules Beetle. But in the end, I think I decided, let's just take it up a notch and sell the entire team. So, of course, it's not completely unreasonable if you just think about it for a second, because if you sell level 3 Stoat on turn 11, you're going to get a level 3 tier 6. And there are multiple tier 6s in this pack whose abilities scale based on their attack. So we've got Cobra, we've got German Shepherd, and we've got Warthog. And I think there are some others as well that, if you give them high attack, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, like Wildebeest. But, given that there are a decent number of them, our chances of hitting one when we sell the Stoat are not too bad. And so the early game here, I'm just having the Baboon buff the Beetle. Thankfully, I think it buffed the Beetle both times there instead of hitting the Stoat. We have to keep them for a long time, so I'm going to, have to stat them up a bit in order to maintain lives. It would be nice to get to turn 11 without being on 1 heart, and there were many runs where I got there and I only had 1 heart and immediately lost. So here I take the Sea Lion instead of Secretary Bird. I was mixing it up a little bit. A lot of the time I was taking Secretary Bird, but I guess at this point I just had enough of it. So we're taking the Sea Lion and we're just going to scale these units for as long as possible, and then while simultaneously leveling them up. And of course, that is one of the issues here, is that you're leveling stuff up, which gives you really no benefit in the short term. Which is why pets like the Sea Lion and the Baboon are important. And I've also taken the Guinea Fowl here to take the buffs from the Baboon. And I think I'm going to also try and level it up, because then it can start buffing the Sea Lion. Here, I think we're going to be fine. Yep. Golden Pack, there are some teams that just seem totally unreasonable. I think when you've got pets like Baboon, if someone high rolls Baboon and they've got 3 or 4 Baboons all buffing the same unit, they end up with a unit that is just absurdly stronger than everything else in the opposing team. You can kind of see it here already with the Beetle only had 2 turns of buffs from the Baboon, but it's still very strong, and most of the time it's stronger than the biggest unit on the opposing team. So here's someone who did take Secretary Bird, and I think here it looked like I was in trouble, but actually I think the Falcon is going to run out of triggers. Yeah, and we end up actually tying, so that was quite fortunate. But now we're going to get the level 3 Beetle. The Stoat is lagging quite far behind. However, now that we've got the Beetle to level 3, that actually works out pretty well, because it means we can spend every chocolate on the Stoat. And there were some runs where I would have like 2.66 Stoat and 2.66 Beetle, and I would get a chocolate. I would just have to pick one of them, and then the next roll, or 2 rolls later, I would find the one that I'd just spent the chocolate on. So getting one of them leveled up all the way first is actually quite beneficial, I think. There will be some bonus clips at the end showing some of the other runs I had at this. And we get a chocolate, so that's good. We just need 3 more, either Stoats or chocolates. For turn 9, our team isn't incredible, but the Nyala is a nice little power spike, and the fact that the Guinea Fowl also triggers on Feint now means that we're a little bit stronger than we would have been in the previous version. So here's a team that has Cobra already, but when Cobra is first purchased, it's very weak, and despite it hitting the Hercules Beetle multiple times there, we're going to be perfectly fine. And so I guess really the question is, what do you think is going to come out of the Stoat here? I think there are 10 tier 6s in this pack. I think it's 11 tier 3s and 4s, but I think tier 6 is only 10. Maybe it's 9. I'm not sure. But take a guess. Maybe I'll put on screen what they all are in case you're not a dedicated Golden Pack player. But I think there are a few other things that could be, good, other than getting one of the units that scales with attack. Getting level 3 Bird of Paradise instantly when you have 3 lives intact would be incredible. because you can then just go absolutely wild scaling some of the other tier 6s that you just buy from the shop. So here I'm going to sell sea lion because I know I have to sell everything. We get the chocolate, sell guinea fowl, sell nyala, sell stoat, and it is oyster. So actually we just have to sell the oyster now. And of course we're going to need something to buff, so we'll buy the fire ant and then sell the beetle. So now everything has been sold that we had on our team. And now we've got to try and construct a team from scratch, basically. So I'm going to take the Highland cow, and then I think I'm going to take a nurse shark here. And I almost bought the octopus before buying secretary bird, but we're going to take secretary bird first, and then buy the octopus. And I think I'm going to freeze the wolf for more secretary triggers. We find another Highland cow, which is good. It's I guess one of the problems, obviously, when you're doing this is that you're going to start with everything on level 1 if you end up having to sell the contents of the stoat, which was the oyster. In all other situations, you're going to have a level 3 tier 6, but it just so happened that oyster was this one. I think I had multiple runs where that happened, and strangely, it actually works out relatively well because, you know, you're not really committed to a particular unit. You can then hunt for other things in the shop that would help you. So here the secretary buffs are going to be good enough, and we end up winning. And I was feeling relatively good at this point, and even better when we instantly get the level 2 Highland cow. So now we can, I think I will use the pretzel to buff it up. And or am I changing my mind here? Maybe I'm going to give the wolf the potato. Yeah, I've been doing that quite a bit more often. You know, when you're facing Cobra teams that are just a little bit stronger than base stats, they can start sniping stuff, and losing the wolf means losing some secretary bird triggers, so I felt like it was worth it. Nurse Shark does Nurse Shark things and snipes the monkey at the back. I guess their whole team wasn't particularly strong, so it wouldn't have mattered too much, but level 1 secretary bird still doing work on turn 12. And I think we'll buff up the Highland cow. And the Nurse Shark doesn't really need, you know, large numbers of trumpets, but having extra stats on the retriever when it spawns is definitely worth it. I think here I was debating on whether or not to go for the level 3 Highland cow. Definitely don't think it's worth it when we've got other things that we could be leveling up. This person, I always get matched with them in Golden Pack, and 9 times out of 10 they have Gazelle, one of my most despised units. Here the Cobra activates the pita bread though, and although it does chip the Highland cow down below 29 health, we get the buff from the secretary bird, and thankfully there at the end the Cobra misses the 50-50. So another pretzel. Pretzel was something that I used to just not think about at all, and I would never buy it, but when you've got a team like this, you know, if you've had to sell your whole team, you're very likely to have all 5s and 6s, so it definitely makes a lot of sense to buy it. And I think there I should have bought tomato instead of the 1.5 secretary bird, because this opponent has Vaquita in 4th position, and the cockatoo at the back would have been killed by the tomato, and therefore we would have avoided the Vaquita doubling the trumpets here. I guess it maybe might have depended on what the warthog buffed, because with the cockatoo out of the way the stats would have been more concentrated, but I think still a mistake to not buy the tomato there. And then we get the level on the Nurse Shark, so that's a decent upgrade. Again, I pass up the tomato, and we level up the wolf, although, you know, that gives us a small amount of extra stats, no more spawns. And this team we go against German Shepherd, Warthog, Falcon, and Falcon is another unit that is much improved. The fact that it guarantees spawns on feint as well, and with the Warthog buffs, the German Shepherd is making the attack on the spawned units pretty sizable, and we end up losing. It wasn't that far off. So we're gradually dwindling in lives, and I'm worried about getting into the situation again of having 1 heart, 9 wins, and losing in painful fashion. So I think I do finally freeze the tomato here, and we go into turn 16. And this team is another Falcon team, but they don't have the German Shepherd. It's Grizzly Bear at the back. And I feel like with the Nurse Shark double sniping, yeah, we're going to instant kill 2 things, and the Grizzly's not going to get enough attacks away to actually trigger. So there we go. Selling the whole team on turn 11. I definitely think you could do that in some of the other packs and win, but I think this one, it probably makes the most sense. Next, I really want to try doing the full sell while also having level 3 Chipmunk, but that might end up proving too difficult. And this shows what can happen if you take your eye off the ball for just a second. I inadvertently sell the Hercules Beetle first, so all the attack gets dumped onto the stoat and wasted. And unfortunately, we also get Bird of Paradise, which is one of the things I wanted to hit. Maybe I should have taken the Wildebeest there, because we're then going to find the Highland Cow. But probably my odds of success at this point were pretty minimal. I should have frozen the avocado there, just maybe I was tilted from my own mistake. I'm not sure there why I didn't just buy the chocolate. Maybe I guess I was rolling in case I got oyster or stoat. Although I'm not sure if it would have actually made any difference. So yeah, we do have a much bigger level 2 Highland Cow now, but we need a very weak opponent. And unfortunately we get matched with Abenheim playing the full German Shepherd Secretary Bird team. And we never stood a chance. So I just wanted to include that one because as much as I didn't want to lose here, it's always nice when you get matched with people from the Discord. But then the next one is a little bit different. This one, again, I get the setup on turn 11. We sell the stoat, and it's going to be Bird of Paradise again. And this time, I buy the Warthog and then split the attack over the two of them, because obviously the attack on the Bird of Paradise doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. And then we're just going to look for other decent stuff. I'm not sure here. All right, I'm trying to make sure I get the full effect of the buffs here, so I'm going to buy 2 pets before I buy the oyster. So we'll take Pteranodon and then also the Sea Lion. Although I think in the end I do end up finding something better than the Sea Lion. I can't remember exactly what happened in this run. Although I'm showing 2 clips here where I got Bird of Paradise, I did have lots of different runs where I got other things, you know, German Shepherd and Wildebeest, and I think I actually got Warthog in one of them. But the fact that you get the Bird of Paradise when you have lives intact, it just makes such a difference. You know, you're able to rapidly scale up these units that are otherwise very, very fragile. And I think here, am I going to take the Nyala? I should do. There's a stoat, so I can buy-sell that. Although it does mean that some of the buffs go to waste. And we do actually hit another Bird of Paradise. So we'll take the Nyala, and I have to put it further back because I want the Pteranodon to double the Warthog buffs for now. Once we get it to level 2, we can actually change the order a bit. So I'm skipping ahead here. We've got the level 2 Pteranodon, level 2 Warthog. So our team is looking very solid indeed. Another Secretary Bird team. I mentioned that the other day that it seems like an epidemic of Secretary Birds when previously you would just never see them, or I would never see them. And I think we should be okay here, although the Warthog is going to get killed by the Wildebeest having the coconut. We're getting double the buffs from the Pteranodon, so it's going to be a 50-50. So buying Pretzel again. Get the level up on the Nyala. However, if you just pause and think about my lineup, there's something missing here, which I talk about all the time in Golden Pack, and that is having Eggplant. And this team has the full Nurse Shark Trumpet build with the level 3 Pteranodon. If I had second position Eggplant, the Nurse Shark would be rendered absolutely useless, but instead here, it gets doubled from the Pteranodon and completely decimates our squad. And although we get a huge amount of buffs at the end, the Retriever is only 32 attack and it can't kill their 50-50. I was so angry with myself after that run. I mean, how many times have I said play second position Eggplant every single game?